Welcome to the next episode of The Professor and the Princess. We are your hosts, Aunrée,
Hello.
the diva,
Full time.
and Randi, myself. We like to talk about what it really means to be human in a world that never stops changing. From culture and tech to identity and emotion, we dig deep into how we love, struggle, grow, and stay grounded amidst all the noise. And really what we want to do is decode cultural change. And we talk about a variety of topics to dig into that. And today we're talking about something that, Aunrée, you and I have talked about a bunch of times in the history of our relationship over the last few years, which is the idea of hope. And we talk about why people continue to hope, even when things are not looking good for them. And we talk about hope as a discipline, that it's something you have to actually work at, just like anything else that you want to kind of master. And we found this awesome quote from Maria May, and I'm probably saying her name wrong, last name Kaba, who's an educator, an activist, and an organizer. And she said, hope is a discipline. It's less about how you feel and more about the practice of making a decision every day that you're going to put one foot in front of the other, that you're still going to get up in the morning. It's work to be hopeful. It's not like a fuzzy feeling. You have to actually put in energy, time, and you have to be clear-eyed, and you have to hold fast to having a vision. It's a hard thing to maintain, but it matters to have it, to believe that it's possible to change the world.
Wow. That's
And
pretty
I think
powerful.
that's spot on. So tell me what you think of that.
So the first thing comes to mind, first of all, I think that's brilliant. I've read this a few times and it resonated strongly with me when you read it. So thank you for that, Randi.
Of course.
I go back to Obama's campaign, which was hope base, right? The base of it was hope, right? I remember the 4 letters. And it's interesting because we were kind of just living in that whole idea of hope around Obama, and he was our president for 2 terms, which is fantastic. But then it takes me back to a conversation I was having with my sister. We grew up in Harlem, and it was just a different experience when we were growing up, like most people say, very rich in culture, etc. But we were walking around, and there were so many buildings abandoned. You know, there were stores abandoned. It was just a really dark time in Harlem at the point. I don't remember which year it was, but we were just visiting the neighborhood. And I said to my sister, she's a brilliant mind too. She's very honest about things. And I said to her, I wonder what happened to the community. Why are people living like this? This is crazy. Like, we didn't live like that, and everything is going to shit. And she said, they don't have hope. People lost hope. And I have to tell you, it is simple. It's very simple, but it was profound.
That's so true.
Right? Is that if you don't have that idea or mindset that things can get better and richer and sustaining the, health and wealth of anything, you kind of have nothing.
So you give up and you're forlorn, and it all just goes to hell.
Yeah. And it can happen very
Really
rapidly.
quickly.
Exactly. And my sister saying that to me about that experience made me lean into, am I utilizing hope? In the right ways, right? Like you jump off, I did some skydiving. Is that what you do when you jump out the plane? Is that skydiving?
Yes.
Yeah. So I didn't even know what I'm doing. What is happening? So
You did that?
I did that early in my California, when I got to California, because I thought it was really cool. I'm saving all the goods for these episodes, right?
I feel, who are you?
I don't even know, right?
I thought we were friends.
Let's hope that I'm. So the thing is when you jump out the plane, you hope that
the parachutes can open.
Listen, girl,
right?
listen, because I did a lot of hope in it. So I think that's the whole idea of, from a moment like that that's very personal, to hope in the world with a campaign, political, right? So that's all that comes to mind. It's a lot of stuff that comes to mind when it comes down to hope, because I don't think we utilize it and believe in it the way that we actually should, and I think it's very powerful.
And you make me think of something that we've also talked about. So hope comes in many different packages, and most people want to have something to hope for or something to believe in.
Yeah.
I remember years ago, I was chatting with my dad, and we're Jewish.
Yeah.
I mean, I was raised Jewish. There's nothing but Jewish in my family. We're not mixed or anything.
Yeah.
And he said to me, you got to watch this guy on TV. His name is Joel Osteen. And I said, isn't he a Christian preacher? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, Dad, you're Jewish. And he said, I don't care. He said, he doesn't sell religion. He doesn't sell Jesus. He sells hope.
Oh my God.
And he makes me hopeful. And so I just ignore the Jesus part because it has nothing to do with me.
Right.
But I love him. And he would tune in every Sunday. And then when he got Sirius radio, he'd listen to his channel all day. And I kind of, after listening to him myself and watching him, I kind of got it. Because if you take the Jesus part out of it, he was selling hope. Now, is Joel Osteen, we don't need to get into his
perfect.
character.
Yeah, exactly.
But regardless of what he's really like in his life, he gave a room full of people, a big ass room full of people, as well as all the people watching and listening, something to grasp onto. So hope comes in the form of belief or God, religion, faith, right? Hope also comes from many other places, whether it's friends and family, or hope that we will see a better day in the world we're living in, or that people can get along, or all the things we need to hope for in order to move forward. Because to your point, once we give up hope, there's nothing left. It becomes, living becomes a chore. It becomes really painful.
And sometimes hope is the only option that we have, because it's sometimes hard to see through the noise and to hear through the noise and see the forest for the trees. I think that becomes a problem. I'm thinking about a client I had some years ago, a coaching client, and she had lost everything. And she was, if you guys knew who she was, it would blow your mind. But it's this whole idea. She's very, very high level executive for years at a company, and she lost it all like in the twinkling of an eye, right? And she still had the money and all the things, but she wasn't doing what she loved. And she realized that was such a big part of the success and feeling great about the work. And she was in a bad place mentally. And in the work, right, we talked about purpose, because I talked about this in a TEDx talk, but also one of the most important pieces that she said to me afterwards, she said, Aunrée, you reconnected me to hope. And she said, it's so small that I'm afraid to lose it, but that's the only reason why I decided to get up, every day to move forward. And sometimes that's what we need. And it's different from manifestation. It's different from vision, because the vision is the thing, the manifestation is the work to make it happen. But the hope is that you believe. You believe that the thing could actually happen. You can see it, right, and kind of see yourself in it. And I think that's the thing that we have to lean into, and that's available to anyone. I'm all about looking at the socioeconomic statuses and where people are in the class system, because I want to make sure that people know it's available to them no matter who they are and where they are. I think it's important.
It is, but I can understand being hopeless when you're in a situation that feels hopeless.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's a job that doesn't pay you enough, whether it's, God forbid, a sick child, or things that are really devastating and really hard.
Yeah.
That fascinates me. How does one tap into hope then? When you feel, and you mentioned your client who lost everything. What if you really lose things that are important, not just a job, but a
people,
person that in your life that is tragically, murdered, killed, whatever, and then you're left with that feeling of, how do I reignite a feeling of hope when I feel that everything that's mattered to me is gone? I don't know. That takes a special kind of person to be able to dig that deep and to pull out those reserves. I don't know that it's me. I think I'm resilient, but I don't think that I don't know that I'd be able to be hopeful.
Really?
After suffering a loss. I mean, I felt that way in the past, hopeless.
Yeah.
And I tried, obviously over time, you are able to kind of build back up. But I think we've all been there where there's a feeling of, I got nothing.
But I mean, it goes
My
back to
tank is empty, right?
And that happens sometimes too. And I think that even hope, I think sometimes we're borrowing from others, others' hope, right? And I was raised Christian, and I became a Christian Buddhist over time, just because Buddhism became more impactful and effective for me. But I couldn't let go of Jesus, because that's what I learned. And it's worked for me for some time. But we, in the Christian faith, and it's probably in other faiths and religions as well, is this whole idea of somebody else praying for you, and that being very powerful, right? So my God, my grandmother and my mom, my granddad my grandmother who's alive now in 101, like their prayers and their hope for me in times that I couldn't carry myself or just didn't. I was hopeless because I've been hopeless as well. I think that's a thing that carries us through as well. So it's a collective thing. I think it connects the dots.
Yeah, we in our religion, we have a Mishaberach list, which is basically the leader of the synagogue or the rabbi, depending on who it is. They say prayers every week for people who are ill, and you can give the name of somebody who you're praying for, and they will help you. They will add to that. It's specifically for people who are ill, but it could translate into people who are just down and out.
Yeah.
And in the Jewish faith and culture, it goes even further than that. When somebody is struggling in your community, we don't just pray for their healing and recovery, but we will give them what they need, even if it's money. The synagogue has a fund just to give people who are struggling a chance to not lose everything. So it's like that gives people hope when others show up for them for no other reason than just because they can and they are.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
So I think that's right. Like it gives you can be restored.
Listen, that's a
through
word.
Through the power of kindness of others.
Ooh.
Right?
Randy, you're preaching a sermon like you're Reverend Randy Davis.
I am a minister. You do know that.
Oh, that's right. Well,
I'm a licensed minister, so if anybody wants to get married, you can hire me to be your clergy.
Okay.
I have a little card that says clergy.
You better put a plug into this episode, which I'm
Just
talking
saying.
about. Dial 1-800-RANDY-DAVIS. Like the whole moment. If you would even,
That is not the right number.
No, don't dial that number
Please
because it's
don't
not
do
right.
that.
Oh my God! Unless you need to.
And thank you for including my last name. I do appreciate that.
Oh shit! That's not
okay.
really. It's
It's
really
okay.
It's really Rodriguez. So Randy Rodriguez.
Yes, Randy Rodriguez.
You get into it.
Yeah.
You bring up a great point too, Randy. You're making me think about this whole idea of utilizing hope more and kind of folding into, because it's so multifaceted in so many ways as far as how it can be effective for people to utilize it. And having more conversations about how we utilize hope. Because I think that we could actually use some of, not the Obama hope, but just hope in general, that's kind of in the world now. Like I told you earlier, maybe early episode, is that I come to life when shit is burning down. I like to fix things, and that's the reason why. And it's also trauma from my upbringing when things were bad, trying to make things good.
Right.
But it's this whole idea that hope really leaned into it, or I utilize hope to lean into, yes, this thing can be better. Whatever it is, the people, organizations, institutions. We need to utilize hope a bit more than we have.
I think that's right.
Yeah. That's all I got on hope, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's a big, mic drop in that.
Well,
utilize it more.
I think that we have to just show up for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And when one person is down,
Pick them up.
we lift them up because someday it's going to be us. And
well, I mean, like you said here from Miss Kaba, right? She was talking about the whole idea that it's a practice. So it's actually we gotta put hope into practice, and I think that's the thing about it. It's like that empty hope. We've heard of that, right? Hope without depth, and the thing about it is that most things in life is all about the work that we put into it.
Yes.
Right. So we need to activate hope, which is actually in the steps that we need to take and being intentional about it, but also moving things forward. I don't think we're going to be better, and I think hope is what it needs to be unless we put in the work.
Right, and I think the name of the episode, hope is a discipline.
Yes.
It's not a feeling. It's not a moment.
Woo-woo,
right.
exactly.
Woo-woo, it's a discipline.
Exactly.
So you get up in the morning, you want to go to the gym, you can also employ your feelings or your motivation for hope.
Yeah.
Just like you can do anything else.
Everything. I love how you close it so beautifully, these episodes.
Oh, I don't.
You can do it like you do anything. And on that note, I would say get your hope on. That's what I just
get your hope on.
Get your hope on,
it.
right? And hashtag that because we all need it.
Can I get a T-shirt that says that?
Let's bring it on, right?
I know a vendor that'll make us T-shirts.
Okay, $59.99. Quality cotton, everything to me. So again, get your hope on. We definitely need it individually and collectively. It's
Yes.
super important. So we were going to leave you guys with that. And remember, it's really less about having the answers to things and posing the questions, because there's still open questions about these things across the board. So until we join you guys again, make sure you keep your eyes wide open to
Yes.
this glorious world that we live in,
Yes.
because we're here.
Yes.
We're here. Au revoir.